Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
In the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Breaking news overnight, Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings died early this morning. The latest on his death and how Washington is responding.
Preparing for the next earthquake. This morning, millions across the state and around the world will practice what to do when the ground shakes. Plus, the new technology debuting today, alerting you seconds before the first jolt.
And they're back. After a whirlwind trip touring our nation's capital, 101 veterans are home from Washington. We take a look back at their homecoming they had last night. A very different experience from when they came back home several decades ago. Good morning. It is 5 a.m. Thanks for joining us for 17 News at Sunrise. I'm Alex Fisher.
I can't wait to see that video. I'm Tabitha Mills in for Maddie Jansen.
Yeah, you know, you were on that honor flight trip a couple months ago, and you know, you had the firsthand experience of just seeing how important it is for not only our veterans, but also for us at home to see. It's kind of a history lesson because you kind of forget, especially with these Vietnam veterans, that they did not have a good homecoming when they originally came home from the war.
It's such a healing experience, especially for Vietnam veterans, especially when you hear or see the welcome that they got home they got last night.
That's absolutely right. We'll have more on that story coming up, but first we're talking about your forecast on this Thursday as we head into the weekend. Kevin's got some good news in the weather department.
Yeah, we have a few things we're going to be talking about today. One thing is the cooler weather. Yesterday we had 84 degrees, 4 degrees off the normal, and today, yes, we are going to be cooler out there. In terms of any changes, you can see here on the satellite and radar, we do have a little bit of cloud cover around the area, but you look off to the west, and it is starting to clear on out. And that'll continue as we go throughout the morning hours. So mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. 58 degrees on the temperature right now. We have a light wind out of the west-northwest at 7. We will see a little breeze as we go throughout the day. Starting out in the 50s, 60s by noon, and by 3 o'clock, 71. And then for the mountains, 52 degrees right now. You have a west-southwest wind at 9. That's really going to pick up throughout the day. And you can see here on our wind forecast, as we head into early afternoon, those winds really pick up into the mountains and into the desert. And then for the valley, I do expect the breeze to pick up here as well as we head into this evening, especially out on the west side as we advertised yesterday, so we could see some blowing dust around the area. Here's a look at the mountain forecast. 50 degrees and cool at 7 a.m., partly cloudy. We should see mostly sunny skies throughout the afternoon, and the temperatures in the upper 50s. We'll talk much more about this in just a little bit, but first, let's see how the morning commute is going. We'll send that over to Alex.
All right, thanks, Kev. Let's take you outside for the first time this morning to the 99 at Airport Drive. And it's looking pretty clear on that side of town. It looks like our camera is frozen, but again, I can assure you that it's okay. The traffic conditions there are looking great. There it is. Traffic is picking up on that side of town. Everything else around the county also looking pretty good to start off your Thursday morning. Just be mindful of the construction projects happening around town, especially in the downtown area. They're repaving 23rd Street, so that could be a little bit of a delay as they start to wrap things up. It's all looking pretty good, though, around the county. We'll have another check coming up in about 15 minutes. The political world is waking up to breaking news this morning. Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings has died. Cummings, who's been a key figure in the Trump impeachment inquiry, died overnight. The 68-year-old recently underwent a medical procedure. His office will not release the nature of that procedure. Congressman Cummings served as the chairman of the House Oversight and Reform Committee and represented Maryland's 7th congressional district. His office released a statement that reads, quote, at approximately 2:45 a.m. on Thursday, October 17th, Congressman Elijah Cummings passed away at Johns Hopkins Hospital due to complications concerning long-standing health challenges. The congressman's last vote on Capitol Hill was September 11th, and of course we'll continue to monitor this story and bring you tributes from Washington throughout the morning.
A frantic search continues this morning for a boy who's been missing for nearly 24 hours. This is a picture of Jesse James. Bakersfield police say he was last seen around 7:30 yesterday morning on Friant Drive near Rio Bravo Drive. He was wearing a black tank top, sweatpants, and shoes. He's considered at risk due to his age and the fact that he's never been reported missing. Anyone with information is asked to call BPD at 327-7111.
New this morning, an investigation is underway in the Southland after a shooting near a popular tourist attraction. One person was shot in the leg last night near the Santa Monica Pier. Police say it happened around 10 o'clock in a parking lot adjacent to the pier. Paramedics rushed the victim to the hospital. No word on how that person is doing this morning or a motive for the shooting. Bakersfield College is hosting an active shooter drill today. It starts at noon in the Levon Center at the Bakersfield College campus. The goal of the event is to help prepare students in case there is an active shooter. The director of student life says these drills have the ability to save lives. Even though the drill is on campus, it is open to the public. This is the second drill the college is holding this month.
Firefighters continue to get the upper hand on a massive wildfire burning in the Southland. The fire erupted a week ago and tonight near Sylmar and quickly spread to the Granada Hills and Porter Ranch areas. At least 2 people died of suspected heart attacks. Earlier this week, the Los Angeles Fire Department said the fire sparked below a high-voltage transmission tower owned by Southern California Edison, but the cause of the fire is still under investigation. So far, flames have scorched nearly 8,400 acres. This morning, the fire is 52% contained.
The threat of another public safety power shutoff is looming. SoCal Edison has activated another alert for homes and businesses in Kern County as high winds are once again in the forecast. More than 1,600 homes are under the PSPS consideration in unincorporated areas of the county. That includes Camp Owens, Kernville, Lake Isabella, Wofford Heights, Weldon, Onyx, and Canebrake. We have a link to the affected areas on our website, kget.com. Just click on the hot link icon to find them. And at last check, there are no shutoffs in effect. Will PG&E pay up following the planned power shutoffs? That's what California lawmakers are demanding from the company. The California Public Utilities Commission is digging into PG&E and how it handles the power shutoffs. And so are lawmakers. State Senator Scott Wiener is proposing legislation to limit planned blackouts.
The goal is to rebalance those incentives so that PG&E isn't just erring on the side of more blackouts and bigger blackouts. And so the bill will allow people to seek compensation from PG&E for their business that had to close or for damages that they sustained.
Wiener's bill would force the CPUC to create a way for customers to recover costs stemming from power shutoffs, and the bill is gaining momentum. Governor Newsom is also demanding PG&E reimburse customers affected by the shutoffs.
Today, millions of people across the world will participate in what's called the Great Shakeout. It's an earthquake drill that helps us get ready for the next big quake.
And 17's Vanessa Dillon joins us live this morning at the Kern County Fire Station 66 to tell us how you can gear up for the big drill happening exactly at 10:17 this morning. Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, Alex and Tabitha. You know, the shock of this summer's 6.4 and 7.1 magnitude earthquakes is still pretty much fresh in all of our minds. And I want you to take a look at some of those key moments in this summer's earthquake, some video looking back at, you know, it's just a quick reminder. The shakeout is definitely something we can consider, knowing that a lot of people, a lot of the times were saying they didn't really know how to prepare. It's something that preparedness is so important in natural disasters like this. And although this one wasn't so catastrophic this summer, it's definitely something important to consider. That's why federal, state, and local emergency experts agree we should all, of course, be prepared for what could potentially hit even closer to home and what could be even more catastrophic. Now, before we speak to local first responders about those key tips you should know for the Great Shakeout this morning, here are a few things to keep in mind. Now, millions of people are set to participate in this morning's drill, and more than 254,000 people in Kern County will learn how to drop, cover, and hold on. And just a few things to keep in mind. Of course, we're going to talk about them in the next half hour of Sunrise, but keep in mind that you should never stand in a doorway if an earthquake strikes, and don't run outside. Always consider the drop, cover, and hold on method, and we'll get into the specifics coming up in a little bit. And of course, coming up in the next half hour, we're going to speak with Kern County Fire Public Information Officer Andrew Freeborn. We'll go into the specifics of why these myths could be dangerous potentially, and we'll also talk about what you should also consider in order to stay prepared for the next big earthquake. Reporting live here in Bakersfield, I'm Vanessa Dillon. I'll send it back to you guys.
I think it's so important, Vanessa, because you think, it's been so long since we saw a really devastating earthquake hit the California area. And so this is just another good reminder of where we live and what we should do.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you, Vanessa.
Absolutely.
Today marks 30 years since one of the biggest earthquakes in state history. Just after 5 p.m. on October 17th, 1989, a 6.9 magnitude center in the Santa Cruz Mountains that rattled the Bay Area and beyond. The quake killed 63 people and left more than 3,700 others hurt. The shaking cost nearly $10 billion in damage, with major roadways collapsing. And it all happened just minutes before Game 3 of the World Series between the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. As a result, the series was put on hold for several days.
It was a welcome home 50 years in the making. Following a 3-day honor flight trip to Washington, D.C., 101 Vietnam War veterans arrived back in Bakersfield last night to the applause and cheers of hundreds of people. 17's Eitan Wallace traveled with the veterans to Washington and was with them for the emotional return home.
The flight arrived around 8 o'clock Wednesday night. Now, these veterans tell me this is the first time they have ever felt appreciated for their service to our nation. Just listen to those cheers. Hundreds of people filled the Bill Thomas Terminal at Bakersfield Airport to welcome these men and women home. The vets spent the last 3 days in Washington visiting memorials, including the Vietnam War Memorial, where they paid tribute to the 58,000 soldiers who never came home. Tonight, the vets with whom I spoke said this trip and welcome home is something that will live with them forever.
This is unreal, unbelievable. Feel great, feel great. This is so wonderful. I really love it. It's a long time coming, but thank you.
It's too exciting. Didn't imagine this would be like this, and to come home feeling so good and then have a welcome home. We're not heroes, but we sure feel special today.
Before the veterans arrived to the applause at Bakersfield Airport, honor flight recognized the late Vietnam War veteran David Michaela. Michaela was signed up to go on this latest honor flight trip, but he suddenly passed away a few weeks ago. His family was on hand to receive the flag in Michaela's memory. Now, this honor flight trip may be over, but our coverage does not end. Later, I will tell you why the flight home from Washington to Bakersfield was especially emotional for these 101 local heroes. Also, I have posted content on the KGET social media pages, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There you can see exactly where the veterans visited during their trip to Washington. Hope you can follow along. In studio, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.
All right, Eitan, thanks so much. Next time you're in Tehachapi, you may want to keep an eye out for some artwork on the streets. They're called mini murals. You're looking at a picture of the murals. The city says the paintings on the back of utility boxes are an effort to bring a little character to downtown. Local artists Tina Dilly and Michelle Miller are the main creative forces behind the project. Their work is now on utility boxes along Tehachapi Boulevard. It's always neat to see those utility boxes covered in artwork. You know, we've got a couple of utility boxes here in downtown Bakersfield that have similar murals on it. It's just really neat to see, especially if you're like at a stop sign or something. You just kind of look over and it's just really neat to
We have
look
several
at.
on the bluffs. It's fun to walk by and see the talent of some of our local artists.
And new technology launching across the Golden State today.
It's an app that's meant to alert Californians ahead of an earthquake. We'll explain how it works coming up in about 20 minutes.
Welcome back. KGET is teaming up with Adventist Health Bakersfield to highlight the many inspiring stories here in our community.
Lives are transformed every day by people in our community who care, taking action to better the lives of others. A local solar company did just that this week to help a single mother in her late 70s forced to work to pay her power bill every month.
Hi.
Artie?
Yeah.
We wanted to bring you a little something. Our company wants to present you with a check for $15,000.
Oh my God!
So, it's real.
It's real?
It's here.
Lyft Energy surprised 79-year-old Hortensia Prendez, or Artie as she's called, with a check for $15,000 yesterday. Artie's husband was killed 60 years ago during a robbery at a small grocery store the couple owned in East Bakersfield. At the time, Artie had a 9-year-old son and a 3-month-old daughter. The couple had also just bought a home, the home Artie lives in today. She worked tirelessly all these years to keep the home, but when employees at Lyft Energy found out she was paying upwards of $1,200 a month on power, the company stepped in.
The only reason that I think we survived as like we have is because of the good Lord above. He has taken care of us, and I've had to work, but I've always enjoyed my work. God has gotten us this far, and He's not going to leave us.
Kind of breaks your heart when you hear that, you know, at her age and like her background in her life, she's still working, and you know, trying to pay her power bill. You know, paying a $1,200 power bill in the summer, to know that that's like a stress that she has. And if we can give back to someone that really needs it, it's pretty cool.
But that's not it. Artie's roof couldn't hold the new solar system, so Lift Energy announced they will replace her roof free of charge, as well as install the new solar system. Artie says the company and their kindness is a blessing, and she cannot believe she will no longer have to pay power bills upwards of $1,200. It's wonderful.
I'm speechless. I mean, that is just such a huge burden that she doesn't have to worry about anymore.
I know, working at 79 years old, you know, she shouldn't have to do that. She's done so much in her life and worked so hard. She should enjoy this blessing.
And we know how difficult the summer months can be, because especially those temperatures, in order to not only just stay comfortable, but to really protect yourself, you do need to have the air on to maintain a certain temperature. And it does run those power bills high.
Yeah, thank you to Lift Energy for doing that for Artie.
That's a great story. All right.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. Foreclosure rates hit a near 14-year low. That's according to ATOM Data Solutions. Nationally, foreclosure activity in the third quarter of the year is down 19% compared to the same period last year. It's the lowest level since early 2005. Analysts say the decline in foreclosure activity is a good sign that the housing market and the broader economy is remaining strong. But 14 states did post year-over-year increases in foreclosures. The highest foreclosure rates are in Delaware, New Jersey, and Maryland. Family Circle magazine is ending after nearly 90 years in circulation. The monthly home magazine for women will end after its December issue. Yesterday, the magazine's parent company, Meredith, laid off 70 employees. About 25 of the staffers were from Family Circle, but it's unclear if layoffs have anything to do with the shutdown of Family Circle. Meredith says some of the leadership from the publication will take on new roles with other brands. Meredith also says Family Circle still has 13 million readers, and that the magazine has more than 1 million followers on social media. Alex?